Welcome to our channel. Today is actually March 20th, 2017, and this episode is going to be about signs from the afterlife, signs from your loved ones. I actually have a article on our website that talks about signs, and there's a couple more signs that I'm not listing today, but these are just some I'm going to give you on video, the top 10 common signs, and I'm going to give you two signs that are not so common but are a little bit more common to people that are a little bit more sensitive to the afterlife or sensitive to spirit. So let's jump into it. Okay, number one would be signs from music, signs in movies, signs in let me just give you an example, put it like that. Have you ever been somewhere driving and you might hear a song that might have so much meaning to it, that really means something between you and that loved one, you and your twin, or you and your mother or father? And just know that that song they're getting that song to play on the radio, or they got you to turn into that station on time so you can hear that song, because they're trying to let you know that they're there with you. Most likely they're in the car with you, riding with you. You just can't see them. You just can't, and some people just can't sense them. But if we open our vision, our awareness, we will be able to sense our loved ones. So they tend to contact us through music. I mean, after Larry passed away, let me give you some examples that Larry did to me. After he passed away, um, I actually also too, they would put songs in your head. So one thing that he did, I hadn't heard "Turn Back the Hands of Time" by R. Kelly in forever, and so all of a sudden this song just popped in my head. Didn't even remember what the video was about, and some told me to go on YouTube to go watch the video. Watch the video. I just broke down and started crying because the video was pretty much similar to our little situation. That he passed away and she was left here, and so R. Kelly was singing the song and saying "Turn Back the Hand of Times," and he was actually in the afterlife pretty much singing that to her. So that was Larry's way of telling me that that's what he meant for me. And I picked up on that. And so also too, one of the biggest things that he did was this movie called Avenged that I tried to watch before he passed away. It shouldn't have had anything to do with him at all. But the movie was a really excellent movie. Go check it out if you want to check it out. And so the thing about it, I never watch movies until the end. I watched it through the first credit where they sung a song, and then it was just like an instrumental song. And then the second part of it, I'm just sitting here watching it for some reason, and then this song come on, and it's by this group. They sound like Evanescence, but they're not. I always forget their name. They're a really awesome group. But if you ever get the video, ever get the movie, just listen to it, and I think it's the second song on there. But the song actually touched me on so many different levels. The song was about that. They were pretty much saying that um I know I know you want me to be there and all that kind of stuff, and I know that you're yearning for me, but don't worry about me. Untether these chains that you have me tethered to you. And it was just so powerful. And so after I saw that movie and I heard that song, I knew right then and there it was from him. I just knew it. And so I called my mom and I told her. And the thing about that was crazy about me seeing this was another thing too, was that I tried to watch this video for like over a month before he passed away. Couldn't find it in any red box by my house, in another city over. Couldn't find it anywhere. And so like a week or so after he passed away, maybe 2 weeks, maybe 2 weeks after he passed away, I went to a red box right in the street from my house, and then the movie was there. And then I watched it. It was an excellent movie. Watched it to the end. And then that's when I sit there and listen to the first little credit of songs, and then this song came on. And the name of the group is Noctura, and the song is an excellent song. It's really, really beautiful. She has an excellent voice, and she sounds like Evanescence. So this was just a few examples of how Larry sent music to me. And so that was through a movie and music as well. So you might get signs from your loved ones from music, movies, and things like that. So that's one sign. The second one would be you might see someone that look like your loved one, someone that might resemble them, someone that they just might have this essence about them. They might not even really just look like them. They might just have this essence about them that is actually feels like your loved one. And so just know that that's your loved one, letting you know that they're here with you. And so that's just another way of them showing that their energy still exists. It's kind of like they're doing like a little, I guess you would say, imprint. And so this person, like I said, might not even look like your loved one, but it might just be this essence of them. They might carry this same this signature of their soul. This is similar to them. And so that's another way that that you actually your loved ones from the other side might try to communicate with you. Number three would be animals. You probably is really common in butterflies, really common in birds, really common in dragonflies. Like for example, my little sister passed away, and she would send my mom dragonflies before. Because my little sister, she's reincarnated now. She's actually reincarnated into my little nephew. So, and I saw that when I was helping my sister bring my younger sister bring my nephew into the world. So, but when she wasn't, she was still hanging around, and she was around me. She was with my other spirit guides, hanging around with me. And so she would always send my mother dragonflies. And so those are really significant to my mom, dragonflies are. And so for me, and so she also started sending me dragonflies too. When I knew she was around, she started sending me, and I didn't like dragonflies at first. I always loved animals. I've never really been a big fan of insects except when I was a kid, but when I got older, not so much. But now I'm not afraid of dragonflies because of her. And I don't know why I was afraid of them. Had really no good reason to be afraid of them. But because of her, I'm not afraid of them anymore. And she used to send them, and she used to have them. I used to sit outside. They used to come swarm all up and down my head and all kind of stuff. And I'm just laughing because I know it's her. And so also too, after Larry passed away, I didn't notice it like I said in another video, but my friend girl went to his grave after he passed away for the first time, and he sent a butterfly. The butterfly just kept just flying around me or whatever, and I'm really not paying attention. And my friend girl, she paid attention, and we actually made a bouquet that had 5 roses on there and a butterfly. And so I said in the last video that that was really symbolic for us, and it really was, because I will tell you in this video what that was symbolic for us for. Because he had a son, I have a son, and so we always wanted a daughter. So that was symbolic. 5 roses was me and him, our 2 kids that we had separately, and then the daughter that we always wanted. So that's why I did the 5 roses, and then we had a butterfly actually on top of the roses. So and they were black and red roses, because black and red was going to be actually our wedding colors. It's always was going to be my colors if I ever got married, and I don't plan on getting married now since my twin is gone. But and he knew that, and he was fine with that. So yeah, so that was symbolic for me. So yeah, they will also send signs through animals. And also he used to send this mockingbird that used to come outside my house when I lived in my other house. He's always come out there every morning and just chirp away. And I just knew, I've always been this person that's been connected, and didn't really realize how connected I was to spirit until after he passed away and started picking up on signs more. And I was just able to pick up on it. I mean, a lot of stuff that he was sending me. And so this excuse me, this mockingbird used to come outside my house every morning and used to just chirp away and kind of like seemed like it was, talking to me. And I would talk back to it, and I'd be like, Larry, you sent that mockingbird, didn't it? And so I would just laugh and all that. And so mockingbirds meant another thing as well. So those are just a few signs. So that actually is number 3 on the list. Number 4 would be feathers. Now, feathers is also something that angels tend to send. Angels tend to send a lot of white feathers. So if you ever see white feathers that come out of nowhere, or you might just pass by and you might see a feather, just know that's an angel or your loved ones. Usually with white feathers, it's usually angels, but sometimes they are your loved ones as well, because they are spirit and they are, connected to God, of course. They're just leaving these signs behind to let you know, especially if you're grieving, especially after they pass away. They tend to leave a lot of signs that people actually miss because they're grieving so much, and they're trying to send these signs because a lot of time when spirits first cross over, they're not that strong, of course, because they're getting back over there and they're trying to get used to being over there again. And sometimes some of them are really adamant about getting the message across, or some of them are kind of strong. So but they will send these signs. It doesn't matter how strong they are. If you don't believe and if you don't pay attention, and then you won't pick up on the signs, your loved ones are trying to tell you that they're still here with you. They don't want you to mourn for them. They want you to know it is an afterlife, that they will see you again. They're just, when you get ready to leave this meat suit that you have and take it off, you'll be there. They'll be there at the gates waiting for you and ready to greet you. And so that's actually. And so another sign, and also feathers as well. They come in other colors as well. And it's actually, if you ever just go and Google search the color of feathers and their meanings, you'll be able to find several articles about what feathers mean and what the different colors means and all that, from spirit. And so actually, the first time I actually gave a reading, and I didn't even try to give this reading. I was doing this reading for a lady that was inside of our group, and so her twin had passed away, and so I was communicating with Larry, and and trying to help him to get messages, trying to understand him to see what her twin was trying to say. And I didn't even mean to do this reading. It's like she just had me to do it. I'm telling her, I'm like, I've never done a reading before. I'm kind of scared and all this. And so actually, it was when I gave her a message that I gave her, to confirm it, her twin actually sent me, when I was getting up, he sent me a red and black feather that hit my foot. It just hit my foot, and I just picked it up. And it was just like, and I had to tell her, and I'm like, oh my God, this is a sign right here. This is, your loved one. This is the spirit is telling us that, the connection is there. So, that's another sign too, feathers as well. That would be number 4. Number 5 would be probably like a cool breeze. So if you're ever somewhere and you don't, it might be hot, or you might be in a room that's, room temperature, or it might even be a cool room, but it might get colder. So if you're ever in a room and you feel like a presence is around you, and you get this cold shiver over you, or this cold feeling, or it gets cool really quick in the room for no apparent reason or whatever, know that that's your loved one. And when I'm telling you these things or whatever, I don't want you to fear your loved ones. Your loved ones are not here to try to scare you or whatever. And any kind of negative energy that you might be afraid of, because humans, we always think about negative stuff. If it's something that is not known to us, it's unknown, we always tend to think about negative things. And so don't go that route. And if you feel like you are afraid and you just can't help it, call Archangel Gabriel to help you have these positive thoughts, these clear thoughts in your mind. And call up Archangel Michael to help you with this fear, to help get this fear out of you, because you're protected. And just know that you're protected, and call upon him for protection as well. Your spirit guides, your guardian angels, your twin, if your twin has passed away, your loved ones, they are here protecting you. You have to trust and believe that. You have to actually deep down trust and believe that they're not going to let anything happen to you. And you have to believe that. And you have to trust that God is there with you. If anything else fails and you don't want to trust what I'm telling you right now, and you just trust God, and everything else will fall into play. But just know that your loved ones are there, and spirit is there, and spirit is helping protect you. You can't live in fear. And usually a lot of things happen to us that are actually manifestations of our own fear, and we think it's something demonic or something that's evil, and it's actually the manifestation of our own ego, our own internal fear. And so, because I had something happen to me before, and I'll tell you guys that about probably later on another date or whatever, but I can tell you that here or whatever. I had something happen to me when all this was going on. When I first started communicating with Larry, and how I first started communicating with him. And I will go into detail, because how I started communicating with him a little bit more is an advanced one on the list. So I will get back to that story at the end of the list, what I'm going to tell you about me, about what I let fear do to me. So let's get back into the common side. So that was actually number 5. Number 6 would be items that are being moved. You might walk into the room and you might have an item that you knew that was somewhere and that was right here, and you come back and it might be right here. Or a light might have flicked on. It might be a light that came on and it wasn't, actually flickering lights and moving objects are actually kind of, I guess you can combine them together, but I do have them separate on the list because that's electricity. So let's just do with items right now. You might have items that are actually moved, something that that was somewhere. You might have your keys that were moved and stuff like that. Spirits, they do things like that because they're trying to get your attention. They're not trying to scare you, and I'm really talking about this not being afraid, because I don't want you guys to fear the other side. We are spirit. We are spiritual beings walking inside of this body, inside of this meat suit that we're walking around in. So it's nothing to fear. And usually when people say, and let me say this or whatever, because one thing that I'm learning, when people say things are haunted, they're really not those spirits that are hunting those places. It's negative energy left behind that's hunting those things. Negative entities or whatever, but usually spirits are not evil. It's the energy left behind, and sometimes that energy will betray and it would categorize itself as being that person, but it's really not. It's the negative energy that's left behind. Energy is everywhere, and so you can have stagnant energy in a place. And so I've actually been somewhere, and I did some where I had to go, and I did some energy work, unknowing that that's what I was there for as well. But I did some energy work because it was a place and it had a lot of negative energy, and it really wasn't in its spirit. It was just the negative energy in that place. So So you can't have stagnant energy left over, and energy has its own form, and you do have negative entities or whatever. But I don't want you guys to focus on that. Focus on the positive. You have to have trust and faith and believe that your loved ones and that your spirit guides are here protecting you, and it's nothing to fear. What is it to fear? Nothing but fear itself. And why would you fear when you know you're protected? So like I said, items that have been moved and keys and different things like that. So this stuff is planetary. Number seven, let's get into electronics. You might have a light that actually might be off. You come in the room and it's on. You might have tampering, like when you're cranking up your car, issues with your car. It's actually I had actually sent a little thing that a little reading or whatever you want to call it. I guess Larry was trying to get a message through his family, and I sent a message over to somebody in his family, and I told him that some things that he might be doing around the house, moving items or whatever, and because he wants them to know that he's still here, and but I can't, get anybody. I can't make people believe that he's still here, but he's been really adamant about trying to get people to that he's still here. But I'm pretty past that or whatever. But he did do some things in electronic tampering and stuff like that. But I just want you guys to know that your loved ones are here. And this is for his family. If they ever see this, this is for anyone. I want you guys to know that your loved ones are here. They're not gone. We actually have this thing that we think that we're separate from the spirit realm, but we're not. We're spirits ourselves. We just leave this auto. This is this is our car. This is a car that we get out of. And once this car is over with, we leave and we go into to the other side. And so yeah, so electronics and stuff like that. Your loved ones will tamper with electronics, and it's easier for them to tamper with electronics because of the frequencies, because they are on a frequency. Their energy, their frequencies now, so they're not bounded by these physical bodies that we have. So it's easier for them to tamper with electrical stuff. You might have flickering of lights and stuff, like I said, and things like that. You might have the radio that might come on by itself. Radio might turn to a different station, things like that. All that is electronic based things. So that's actually number seven. Number eight would be numbers. Now, numbers is really not, unless these numbers are significant to you and this loved one. Because after Larry passed away, he actually got me. It was the number seven that I was trying to understand. This one I was like getting little bitty bits of information from him that I didn't even really know nothing in. I was pretty much a baby then. I'm thinking about it, and I actually had asked his son's grandmother that the number seven mean anything to her, and she told me that it did, and this was something that Larry told me, number seven, and what it meant, and she told me what it meant to his son. So yeah, so unless the numbers are significant to you and that loved one, or significant in some kind of way, usually angels send numbers. And angels, if you ever look up the meaning of angel numbers, you can Google that online as well, and you can find a lot of articles about different meaning of numbers, like 1111, like 111, 2 22, and things like that. So you'll be able to find a lot of different numbers and what their meanings are. But 1111 is a universal number. It's the angel number. It's the number that when you see 11 behind something like 7-Eleven, just know 11 really means that the angel spiritual realm is trying to tell you what direction you need to go in, or you need to pay attention to what you're doing and see if you're on the right if you're on the right track. And if you're not, you need to adjust yourself to get on the right track, because angels are trying to tell you. They give us signs all the time as well, and we just have to be aware. And angels usually talk more, they tend to talk more in numbers and feathers, not really like our loved ones, but they do as well. But numbers are more significant to angels, but that is a sign of your loved ones that have passed over as well. Number nine, you might hear your name. Now, some people are so afraid of hearing their name and thinking that something is bad, just out to get them or whatever, or things like that. Or you might hear knocks on the door and stuff like that. Actually, angels used to knock on my front door, and when I started communicating with angels and stuff like that, and I would ask, okay, what is that? Because I was afraid that it was something, bad too, and it wasn't. It was angels knocking at my door. And so yeah, but You might hear your name, and just know when you hear your name, it's usually probably your loved one. Usually, the time you hear your name when you're in this state of halfway sleep and halfway up, or you might just be daydreaming and stuff like that. That's because you're more in sync with the other side, because you don't have all this stuff going on in your mind, all this gibberish stuff, what you did yesterday, and everything that's bothering you in life going on in your mind. You're in that state where you're that calm state where you're more aligned with your true self, so you're able to hear things. And so also clairaudient. That's the thing of clairaudient. Now I'm clairaudient. I'm clairvoyant too, but my clairaudient abilities are what are taking over now, and I think that my clairvoyant abilities are about to come in, because at the beginning I had more clairvoyant abilities, but I used to use those more so with my third eye. And so but yeah, but clairaudient doesn't really mean that you hear stuff externally. Clairaudient means you hear stuff internally. So it will be this little voice in your head, and actually will sound like your own voice or whatever. But that could be spirit, that could be God, that could be spirit, that could be your loved ones, that could be angels, and so that could be your twin that passed away. And actually, while I'm saying this or whatever, I like this. I don't know if anybody on here ever watched The Vampire Diaries. The season is completely over with now, but the last episode really really just hit home for me, because the character Bunny and her loved one, her lover that passed away. She was a witch and she was a psychic, and so she created this parallel world that she had him in, and she was able to communicate with him and things like that. And so at the end, when she had to break the connection to that world because of the things they had to do inside the movie to save everyone, her loved one Enzo, she wanted to go travel the world or whatever, and so he was just like, she was looking like, where's my keys or where's something, and he would just say, your keys is over there or something. And the way they showed it just really hit home, because that's how Larry talks to me, and that's how my spirit guides talk to me. It's like that little internal voice that you have to hear, and you have to make sure you have to trust it. And the whole thing about this is trusting and believing and having faith that you are talking to your loved ones and your spirit guides and things like that. And don't think you're crazy, because psychiatrists will try to put you on medicine that will call you, label you crazy and things like that. It's just some things that science cannot explain. And even now, science is trying to explain things, but the mainstream science still doesn't want to acknowledge it. But that's because they want to keep you asleep. They want to keep you, in the slumber. But no, it's time for us to wake up. So people are awakening everywhere. So if you're watching this video, it's the reason why you're watching this video. But yeah, so that little part of that scene just really hit home to me, because it just reminded me so much of me and Larry's connection, um, in the movie about her and Enzo connection. So they really hit home and to me. So I'm sorry, I'm kind of zoned out for a minute, because I'm just sort of thinking about that part and thinking about my connection with Larry. And number 10 would be glimpse outside of your eye, or you might see a shadow walk by, you might see something at the glimpse of your eye, and you turn around, you don't see anything. Well, just know those are your loved ones, those are angels, those are, other higher beings. And so if you feel like there might be something negative, because there can be negative beings too, I'm not gonna let you be ignorant to the fact that there are negative entities. Call up on Archangel Michael, like I said, and ask him for that strength, ask him for that protection, and call upon Archangel Gabriel to have clear thoughts, so you can purify your brain, so you won't have these entities that you think exist that are actually your own internal manifestation of something that is not even really there. But usually those are your loved ones that you're getting a glimpse of past, of beyond the veil, and you're seeing them. And so if you meditate more, you'll be able to, a lot of these signs or whatever, and you meditate, and you'll be able to see that these signs, your loved ones are sending you these signs. You just haven't picked up on them. And you don't even have to really meditate. Just be aware. Open your eyes. Open your eyes. Be aware. And it's amazing when you realize that the spirit realm is still there. It's just that, as humans, we miss the physical touch. And I miss Larry's physical touch so much. And I miss, I just miss him in general, physically. And even though I know he's here with me, he's always here with me. We're one and the same. It's not the same, but I do have solace and I do have peace knowing that he still exists. So, and I know that when I pass away, that I will be there with him. And I've actually seen in a vision as a kid, because I didn't even know I had these visions as a kid that I didn't know that didn't come back until later on in adulthood a few months ago. And I'll tell you guys about that at a later date. But I knew this guy before I even knew this guy. And so then right there alone, I dreamed about this guy, this particular guy, his whole name and everything. And I didn't even know this guy. I met this guy in my late 20s. That right there just shows me just, and I seen our future after I passed away. So I've seen the pretty side, the pearly gates. I've seen it. I've seen it in my vision. So it's just it's so amazing. It's just really amazing. And so those are the top 10 common things that you might experience from your loved ones from the other side. Now, I'm going to do two bonus, which would be 11 and 12. These are the little bonus ones. These are the ones that are not really as common. They can be common, but they're not really as common, because if you're not picking up on the first 10 common signs, you're definitely not going to pick up on these other signs, because you're not even aligned to do that. So 11 would be automatic writing, and that's the one I'm going to get into about the little fear thing that I had going on with me. Okay, I told you guys in another episode about how I was crying really bad one day, and I'm gonna give you the Cliff Notes part. That I had this necklace on around my neck that was one of those pin necklaces, and I was crying really bad, and all of a sudden I took it off my neck, and then I felt the energy of the pin moving, and I'm like, oh my goodness. And so I'm looking like to myself, I'm like, I know this is Larry. I know this is Larry. And so I got three pictures, one of him, one of my son, one of me and him, one of my son, and one of his son. And I asked, the pen, I turned them over, I scattered them around, I didn't know what picture was which. And I asked the pen to go the direction to let me know what actually what picture was who. Was this his son? Was this my son? Was this us? And it went to the picture every time, and I didn't even know what it was. And I just knew it was, from that moment on, I knew it was him. And so then we started actually automatic writing, and then I would write things down like yes, no, and I would let the pen would gravitate and move and write on the paper. And I started communicating with him this way. Then he opened up the gateway, so I started communicating with angels that way. And actually, I had my little sister, and I actually had a friend or whatever, and when they were ready and they were open enough or whatever, they were able to see the pen move for itself, the energy of the pen being in my hand and moving for itself, or them holding the pen, and they feel the energy of the pen moving. But that wasn't the scary part. The scary part for me was that I let my own fear and certain things that have to happen, that are fear things, that our spirit guides let happen for a reason, because we have to learn. But they're not. It's not a thing of we're gonna get hurt. It's just something that we have to learn. If they feel like we're gonna get hurt, then they will take us out of that situation. But I had this real big fear. And so, this little incident that I had that was fear based for me was that okay, I was talking to him, I was communicating with him, and like I said, our spirit guides will let some things happen to an extent so we can learn, because we can't walk around oblivious to the fact of things, of course. And I know that now. And I'm not afraid of that anymore. But the thing that I had happen to me was actually I thought I was being possessed. And so, but the whole time Larry was there with me. The magnificent thing about it was that he was there and he was communicating, he was letting me know. I won't tell you everything about the situation, because I will let it be known at later on. And but what did happen was I had this really big scare. I was at the hospital, and I thought something was trying to hurt me, or was I thought it was I was being possessed, or something was, yeah, I thought I was being possessed pretty much. But it really wasn't. And I was trying to drive, and I heard Larry internally say, "Do you trust me?" And it was just, I don't want to tell you guys too much, because I need to say that for actually the book that I'm writing. So I'll just give you guys that, I just tell you guys that little bit. So, but I did have a big scare, and I don't want anyone. If I can prevent someone from having that scare that I had, because I didn't trust and believe, and I didn't even really know too much about my spirit guys. I mean, I didn't have anybody to teach me this stuff. I was just learning, just picking up and learning from spirit, and then learning from my own internal ego. That's pretty much going against spirit. So I'm just like, I had to learn the hard way. And if I can prevent somebody from having that fear, and of not learning the hard way, then that's wonderful. You're probably meant for you to see this video so you won't have that fear. But you just need to have, before, even if you're afraid, and before you start dibbling and dabbling, and trying to open up your abilities or whatever, what I want you to do is to build that connection with your spirit guide. Build that connection with your spirit army. I used to always say this thing, and this might help you as well. When I used to start doing readings for people, I used to always say, I'm fully protected. My house is protected. Nothing negative is, and I say it out loud and I make it known. Because one thing about negative entities, let me tell you this, they cannot possess you, they cannot take over you, they cannot do anything to you unless you allow them in. And so you have to tell them, you have to pretty much tell them, because as angels follows, they follow the law as well. They follow the law of free will. So therefore, if you know angels follow the law of free will, you know negative entities have to follow the law of free will as well. So angels don't really actually pose itself up on us. They let us have free will unless they have to stop something from happening bad or whatever, then they'll do that. But usually if you want their help, you ask them for their help. But they are here to protect you, and they are here helping you as far as guiding you and protect you in that way. But if it's something extra you need help with, ask them. There's certain things that they do and certain things that they don't do unless you ask them for that help. But negative entities can't do that as well. So I just say it out loud, like I'm telling you right here. I just be like, I'm fully protected, my house is protected. I used to visualize angels around it, guide my whole house. If you have to do this whole visualization technique, I used to close my eyes, visualize angels surrounding my whole house, surrounding me, surrounding everybody I love, everything I love. And I used to just know and tell them, look, I am fully protected. My spiritual army is here, and my spiritual army is protecting me, so I'm not worried about it. And I used to start my reading or whatever. So, but when you get further and you get closer and closer relationship with your spirit guides and you trust them more, you don't have to really do that fear-based thing of saying that all the time. But if you do have a little spook, you can say that. And I used to also, tell them that I used to just call out everybody. I used to call out the archangel's name that's here with me. I used to call out, because I didn't know some of my spirit guides' name. Then I used to say my spirit guides, my twin guide, and all those kind of things like that. I used to say my spiritual army is here with me, my animal totems, all that, and they're protecting me. And so if you need to do that, do that. But don't let this fear stop you, because at one point in time after that happened, I actually stopped doing any kind of work at all. I was afraid to do anything. I actually had tore up my book and threw it to the side or whatever, because I was afraid because of all the stuff that we used to write and things. And I just said one day, I was just like, I'm not gonna let this control me. So I got the stuff out the book, and then I tore it up, and then some of the things I tore up and some things I didn't. And then allow that negative stuff, my own internal self, to take over anymore, and I didn't allow that to frighten me anymore. So I got over my fear. So just work through it, get over your fear. I know it's easier said than done, but once you get over it, and we're going to always have, because of our human ego, we're going to always have that, some of those fear factors. But anytime you feel, fear, and you come back, you're going to always revisit fear too. And I tend to do that a lot. I'll get through these stages, like I said before, and I'll think that I'm over different things, and then I will see, like, okay, I still do have some fear-based things or whatever, and then I'm like, okay, shake it off, Gabrielle, and I think I'm over it. But it's just amazing, because like I said, I've evolved so much, and I want to see you guys evolve as well. So that was actually the little bonus, I guess number 11, or the bonus number 1, which would be the automatic writing. And let me tell you how we automatic write. We wrote. I did say that I used to write yes and no, and then I used to, pretty much the pen used to move itself, or the pencil used to move itself in my hand, and I used to write different yes and no down, or my name and different people's name down, and extra pen to go, extra question, extra pen to go there. But some people, automatic writing is different. Every psychic, every person has their own different unique way of doing things, and that's just the way mine is. A lot of people say that they've never experienced the way that I've experienced, but everybody's different. So you might experience automatic writing, you might have, some people actually, they don't recall it, they'll wake up and they're actually in a going to sleep, or being in some kind of trance, and they'll wake up and they've been wrote all this stuff down. That's how automatic writing happens for them. But to me, I was actually awoke. I was actually sitting there, and the pencil was moving in my hand. And so everybody's different. So if yours didn't work the way mine does, don't feel bad, because everybody's different. You can't compare yourself to anyone else, because I have a tendency of doing that too. And I'm like, okay, well, that psychic does things a little more different than I do, and I'm like, why isn't it happening like that for me? But everybody is different, and then sometimes as well, it's also not meant for you to be at that stage yet. And when you get to that stage, you'll probably experience something at that stage. So everybody's just different. Just know that, and trust and believe that. And also as well, number 12, which is the second bonus, is sending of pics, or you might take a picture and you might actually see the actual figure inside of the picture, loved one inside of the picture. And so I'm gonna give you 2 examples, one personally, that's mine, and one that's someone I know. Someone I know, their loved one, they were at a wedding, and one of their loved ones, they took a picture of the wedding, showed up in complete physical form. Pretty much, you can tell, you would think it was somebody's there, but it actually wasn't. It actually was a spirit. And so it was the spirit of one of their loved ones, and they were there at the wedding when this big event was going on for their family. So they was just letting them know that they were there with them at the wedding. Excuse me. Um, and so for me, Larry sent me a picture of him after he passed away. So I'm gonna tell you a little bit about the picture. It's actually on my Facebook page. It's on our Facebook group page. I actually have it on my unofficial Facebook page, which is actually a picture of him as one of his past life selves, picture of him in his current life. Actually, the picture is a picture of him that he sent me from the other side. It's actually, it wasn't a picture that I was able to recreate. Me and my sister tried to recreate it, but we couldn't. We couldn't recreate it because it wasn't on this side. It was actually on the other side. And so it's a picture of my room, but it doesn't look like my room because in my actual room you can see things that are on my dresser, the wood knots and everything, but you can't see that in that picture that he sent me. And also, it was a really good medium friend of mine. She's seen other spirits as well. She's seen in the picture as well. She's seen my great grandmother, also my youngest sister that had passed away, and also beside him is a picture of the son that we had in a past life. So actually, I'm learning more about our past life. One of our past life, we had a son together that died at a young age, and so that was that son. He's actually going to stay over there and going to wait to reincarnate until I make it there. And so I found that out from my own Akashic records. And so yeah, but that picture was a wonderful picture. I hope you guys check it out. It's actually on our website. It's actually on my Facebook page, my unofficial Facebook page. It's on our group, and it's a really wonderful picture. And also, I told you, like I said, somebody I knew actually, their loved one had sent them, they actually took a picture of the wedding, and they saw their loved one in the picture as well. So spirits can send us signs that they're here so many different ways. And so it's funny because I ended up sending that picture to his family, and I don't know if they ever saw it. I'm pretty sure they did, but it's kind of funny because he's been trying to get me to let everyone know that he's still here in so many different ways, and I've tried to do that. But yeah, so anyway, but that's it. I'm gonna cut this video off because if this camera is steady messing up, I don't have enough room on my phone, so I don't want to cut off again. I have to try to edit this video. But let me pull a card for you guys. For this video, and this is the perfect deck to pull from because this is a deck that talks about spirit. So this right here, I actually did this video, and it's my second time doing it, so I actually know what the card is. It's the trust card. And so this card says, while your logical mind is dictating a supposedly clear direction, your soul inner guidance is urging you to follow an alternative path. The logical path may be one that you consider safe and more familiar, but you could be missing out on boundless opportunities and so much more. And that just means that your loved ones are trying to tell you, they're trying to communicate with you. It's something that they're trying to tell you. They just want to comfort you. They want you to know that they're here. And you're missing out on that. You're probably still grieving for no apparent, well, for apparent reason, of course, but you're probably still doing unnecessary grieving because you're not picking up on their signs. They're trying to let you know that they're here. They want you to move on. They want you to enjoy life. They want you to know that they're going to see you once you pass. Once you leave this meat suit, they're going to meet you there. They're going to be there waiting for you. And just know that they're still here, and you can always still communicate with them or whatever. And so I think it's also good to have at least one psychic reading in a lifetime. And so even psychics ourselves, we need our own psychics. We need other psychics to psychic us, I guess. And so with that being said, just trust and believe and have faith. And I want you guys to trust your spirit guides. I want you guys to trust that the signs that you're picking up from your loved ones are really truly signs, and you're not going crazy and you're not imagining this. These are really signs. Some things science cannot explain. And this is coming from person that a science freak. I was a science freak, always have been. And so just trust and believe me that your loved ones are here, your loved ones are trying to communicate with you. And just trust and believe that and have faith. And I will leave it at that. I have to edit this video a couple times because of the camera